Assalamu alaikum. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. This is all about psychiatry. Today's target is to fulfill, to complete all the psychiatric issues in a short way, in a definitive way. Start with this ego defenses. In ego defenses, there are some immature defenses. What is ego defense? Thoughts and behaviors used to resolve conflict and prevent undesirable feeling. There is thought and behaviors used to resolve conflicts and prevent undesirable feeling like anxiety and depression. First is acting out. Acting out is just like subconsciously coping with the stressor or emotional conflict using actions rather than reflections. Using actions rather than reflections or feelings. Like a person skips therapy appointment after deep discomfort from dealing with his past. Like suppose he is a cancer patient. He knows what's the pain during chemotherapeutic agent, how painful the chemotherapeutic agent. So he subconsciously coping with stressor or emotional conflict using action rather than reflections or feeling. So he intentionally skips chemotherapy after these discomfort from dealing with his past. Denial. Denial is avoiding the awareness of some painful reality, like a like a cancer patient plans for full-time work schedule despite being warned of significant fatigue during chemotherapy. He or she actually denies uh, about his present condition, about his cancer. He is just ignoring his fact and work scheduling his work, and even if uh, he is warned about the chemotherapy, he is ignoring that thing. This is denial, completely not giving not giving that much priority. That is denial. Displacement. Uh, Actually, I remember this display in a projector. What does that means? First of all, displacement, uh, like some student scolded by his teacher, then he start scolding his little brothers, and his little brother start scolding his cats, and his cats start scolding his rats, and this is the way of displacement goes. Like after being reprimanded by his principal, a frustrated teacher returns home and criticizes her wife's cooking instead of confronting the principals directly. Then projection, displaying a projection. Projection is completely attributing an unacceptable internal impulse to an external source. Like projection, actually, he is guilty. He tries to prove another person is guilty. A man who wants to cheat on his wife accuses his wife of being unfaithful. that is projection. Dissociation. Dissociation is temporary drastic change in personality, memory, consciousness, or motor behavior to avoid emotional stress. Patient has incomplete or no memory of traumatic event. Patient has incomplete or no memory of a traumatic event. A survivor of sexual abuse sees the abuser and suddenly becomes numb and detached. A survivor of sexual abuse sees the abuser mm, and suddenly becomes numb and detached. This is dissociation. When he sees the abuser, when he sees that particular condition, he becomes numb. He becomes dissociated. Fixation. What does fixation means? Fixation is partially remain remaining at a more childish level of development. Partially remaining at a more childish level of development. A college student continues to suck her thumb when studying for stressful exam. A college student continues to suck her thumb when studying for stressful exam. Regression. What does the regression means? Involuntary regression means involuntary turning back the maturational clock. Involuntary turning back the clock maturational clock to behaviors previously demonstrated under stress, like fixation. A previously toilet trained child begins bedwetting. A previously toilet trained child begins bedwetting against following the birth of a sibling. This is regression. Regression and fixation. Fixation is like doing some childish work like sucking thumb during stressful situation, and regression means regressing the condition. What does that means? After birth of a newborn baby, the little kid, the little boy starts bedwetting. Although he is a toilet trained baby, so starts regressing. That is regression. Fixation, regression, fixation and regression. Display in a projector and the display in a projector. Okay, identification, identify, sorry, idealization. Idealization is a patient boasts about his physician and his accomplishment while ignoring any flaws. Idealization is expressing extremely positive thoughts of self and others while ignoring negative thoughts. Expressing extremely positive thoughts of self and others while ignoring the negative thoughts. Identification, largely unconscious assumption of the characteristics, qualities, and traits of another person or group. A resident starts putting her stethoscope in her pocket like her favorite attendant, instead of wearing it around her neck like before. Identification is like just like copying his favorite person, how he talks, how he walks, how he wears things. This is identification. Intellectualization. Intellectualization means a patient diagnosed with cancer discuss the pathophysiology of the disease. That means he is using the facts and logic to emotionally distance oneself from a stressful situation. Isolation of effect, isolation, that means separating feelings from ideas and events, describing murderer in graphic detail with no emotional response. That is isolation. He is isolated, describing murder in graphic detail with no emotional response. Passive aggression, demonstrating hostile feelings in a non confrontational manner, showing indirect opposition. A disgruntled employee is repeatedly late to work but won't admit it is a way to get back the manager. A disgruntled employee is repeatedly late to work but won't admit it. It is a way to get back at the manager. He is late in his or her work, but he is showing aggression. This is passive aggression. He should not show such sort of aggression. He should be apologized, but he is not doing so. That is passive aggression. Projection. Projection, a man who wants to. I have already told that display in a projector, displacement and projection, display in a projector. Rationalization, an employee who was recently fired claims that the job was not important anyway. The job was not important anyway. Reaction formation, replacing a word of idea or feeling with an emphasis on its opposite. Reaction formation, the match difference is a sublimation. Reaction formation, the reaction formation versus sublimation. A stepfather treats a child he resents with excessive nurturing and protection. Usually, the stepfather do not take care of mm, those child, but he shows excessive nurturing and overprotection. This is reaction formation, that means replacing a word of idea or feeling with an emphasis on its opposite. Repression, opposite is suppression. Repression, involuntary withholding an idea or feeling from conscious awareness. A 20-year-old boy does not remember counsel going to counseling during his parents' divorce 10 years earlier. A 20-year-old does not remember going to counsel during his parents' divorce mm, 10 years earlier. This is involuntary withholding an idea or feeling from conscious awareness. This is repression. And repression, mature defense is suppression. In repression, mature defense is suppression. And splitting. Splitting is a patient says that all the nurses are cold and all the physicians are warm. He has some sort of criteria that some people are good and some people are bad. This is splitting common in borderline personality disorder. Borders split countries. These type of borders actually split countries. High yield, very very much high yield. That a borderline personality disorder border split countries. Sublimation and reaction formation. In reaction formation is just like a step further, taking much more care in his children's treats child he resents with excessive nurturing and overprotection. And sublimation is a teenager's aggression towards her parents because of their high expectation is channeled into excelling sports. This is sublimation. Altruism, a mafia boss makes a large donation to charity, alleviating negative feelings via unsolicited generosity, which provides gratification. Altruism versus reaction formation. Altruism versus reaction formation. Altruism versus reaction formation. This is altruism. This is reaction formation. Suppression is intentional withholding an idea or feeling from conscious awareness. It is temporary and athlete focuses on other tasks to prevent worrying about an important um, worrying about an important upcoming match. And humor, a nervous medical student starts joke about the boards. This is all about mature and immature defense.